Hitting all the right buttons means game number 2 is ready to roll. Welcome back, guys, to the ESL Go4Heroes Americas Cup number 14 finals. We're into game 2. Shane Gucci has been hanging out all day and being a boss, keeping me on points. And speaking of the boss, this map really likes its boss fights. We're going to Sky Temple.
Yeah, man, a lot of teams absolutely love playing on this map, and it's fun to cast, it's fun to watch. I remember when it first came out, a lot of teams despised it, but now that they're a little, a little bit more adjusted and acclimated to it, they're okay with picking it up. So, Sky Temple, once again, excited to get into this match. Game number 2 between Cloud9 Vortex and Barrel Boys, and once again, the respect ban coming out of Cloud9 Vortex. They want nothing to do with Arrow Stitches because we saw what Arrow can do with that hero, and that is just win games. Incredibly, incredibly strong Stitches player. And the follow-up ban for Barrel Boys is going to be Rhaegar. Are we going to see that Volo first pick once again by Cloud9 Vortex?
It's very likely. Yep, it's absolutely likely, as that's basically the first pick almost 100% of the time for if your name is not Barrel Boys. Do you know what their first pick is? Almost 100% of the time when they don't ban it themselves. It is, of course, Tyrande, and with that Rhaegar ban, it means that she sneaks through. This also means Sergeant Hammer once more has snuck through the bans. Will Cloud9 go for the dual backline support, or will the Barrels be able to solidify with a very strong first pick combo of the Tyrande Uther?
So Barrel Boys had the opportunity to pick up Sergeant Hammer, who's widely considered to be one of the best, backline DPS assassins, not assassins, but just damage dealers in Heroes of the Storm right now. They not only pick her up, but pick her on her best map nonetheless. Decided not to do it, picking up a hero they put a lot of emphasis on. We've seen them picking this hero constantly, as you mentioned, when they're not banning it, Tyrande. And I feel like this is them almost inviting Cloud9 Vortex to pick the hammer up, going, we are not going to get the hammer. We're going to get the hero we want a little bit more. We play with, we have a little bit more success with the Tyrande, who also kind of is a soft counter to Sergeant Hammer. Maybe not a soft counter, but definitely can open up the draft for Barrel Boys to have the skills and tools to deal with the hammer. So definitely some, deep meta drafting going on right here for Barrel Boys.
Yeah, so once again, they do have the Tyrande and the Uther. That's a very common pickup. The Vala is going to be paired off with the Tassadar. They say, all right, the Barrels are going to go for an Illidan. We got to snag out our supports now. Rhaegar's out, Uther's out, Tyranda's out, which leaves us with the Malfurion, the Brightwing, the Lilian, of course, the non-healing Tassadar, at least until 4 when he gets that healing ward. But what can Vortex do if they don't want to go with an Illidan, if they don't want to go with that hammer? Well, they're going to need to start looking to pick up some heroes that will limit what the Barrels can go. And, big heroes that we've seen today, Diablos, ETCs. The Uther and the Tyrande are already out. They could easily go for the Malfurion just to set up for those last 2. But, we haven't really seen a lot of Nazebos today. We've seen a few Zagaras, but overall, I wonder if the reign of the Witch Doctor is over, Shane.
Maybe for some teams some teams probably not putting as much priority as other teams. He's still an incredibly strong hero who is, obviously has his utilization and his application in almost every single situation you can imagine. But I was about to talk about, is Cloud9 Vortex going to pick up the Illidan? The answer is yes. The reason I was questioning it is normally Illidan, he needs a Tassadar. He doesn't need, but it
goes much better
with him. With a Tassadar. Tassadar is very good for any melee diving hero like an Illidan. And another thing that Illidan likes to have with him is a good burst healing, right? And the best burst healers are Uther and Rhaegar. Well, Barrel Boys picked Uther, and they banned Rhaegar. So the only real healing support left over, there is no healing support left over that has that big burst healing that usually you see with an Illidan. Next up in, what would be considered the tier list of healing supports in North America would be Malfurion, Brightwing a little bit below that. So it's going to be interesting to see what they pick up. I think it is going to be Malfurion. But once again, Malfurion doesn't synergize quite as well with Illidan as Uther or Rhaegar.
Now, this has also been something that we've been seeing a heck of a lot of this weekend. The Tyrande and the Jaina combo. That is going to be a Diablo frontliner here for Barrel Boys. I believe we've seen that at least once here today, but we could be seeing some roaming pressure once more coming out with the Tyrande and that Jaina. Now, this is actually rather intriguing from Vortex, because they do need that frontliner, and the best frontliner diving combo you can get to go with the Illidan is going to be that ETC. We've been seeing him time and time again. Erho has been absolutely phenomenal with him, and now it's going to be seeing what the Cloud9 Vortex can do with him. But the Lily as well. I have seen games where this can work wonders.
Yes. So as I mentioned, Illidan kind of needs that big burst healing.
Yep.
And one hero I kind of, put on the back burner that I feel a little embarrassed about is Lily's 1,000 Cups. Lily has received some changes, some significant changes in recent patches. Still considered to be a, more inferior hero to the other healing supports, but definitely has her application. And I actually like Lily in this situation. Obviously, Uther or Rhaegar would be a little bit more optimal, but I actually like the Lily in the situation that Vortex has because it's going to enable Illidan to get in those team fights, stay alive, get his right clicks off, use as many rotations as he can. So this is going to be interesting, especially with the last pick of Barrel Boys there, Sean.
And the last pick of the Barrel Boys is going to be a Zeratul. They are going to be looking for that Void Prison hype in order to perhaps set up the Wombo with the Apocalypse and the Divine Storm, or they can go from the Void Prison into the Divine Storm into the Lightning Breath. And looking at how light we are a little bit here in terms of the damage for the Barrel Boys, I'd be very, very convinced to see that we are going to have a Lightning Breath come out on top of this. Now, Lily, we don't see her a lot. She's definitely on the lower tier, but when you do need that upfront burst, you do need to go with her because the Brightwing is great sustain, so is the Malfurion, but until 10, it's just not going to cut it. Now, what can Lily do here? Lily is going to be great not only for the heals, but she can get the 2-for-1 at level 16, but you're also going to be looking at how many people she's going to be able to hit at the right times with Blinding Wind. Zeratul can't chase anyone if you can't hit him. The Diablo is not going to be able to hit anyone if you can't hit him. And Jaina Tyrande on the flip side as well. It's going to be very interesting to see the synergy coming out from these guys, but I have seen it work wonders.
So the Void Prison, I'm wondering if its application here is going to be to specifically in the back of the mind of McIntyre who's been playing this Zeratul. Is he going to be looking for that 1,000 Cups heroic and then immediately using Void Prison to cancel it out, which will then enable Barrel Boys to pick that Illidan off before he does much of anything? That's definitely an application for it, or, that's definitely, it's going to be interesting to see because Cloud9 Vortex has to respond to it. They have to respect the Vortex. They can't be too liberal with the usage of the 1,000 Cups. They have to be very aware of the cooldown of Void Prison and when it's going to be used. But ladies and gentlemen, the gates are going down. This is game number 2. Between Cloud9 Vortex and Barrel Boys on the left side of your map. Bottom lane is going to be McIntyre on Zeratul. A big 4-man rush over to the Watchtower. Trummel on Jaina, Blinks on Uther, Arrow on Diablo, and Kanda on the Tyrande.
Now, the flip side, these are the guys that, you know what? Barrel Boys didn't win that game. I don't know why I put them up to a point. That is silly. It was Cloud9 Vortex for the victory there. But yeah, the guys that are leading right now, Cloud9 Vortex, they they saw, they conquered game number 1. They're here to prove that they can get a game number 2 under their belt and go home happy with the first place seeding and $100 that they're going to be earning here from the first place on ESL. You got Tazza into the top lane, the Lily on Zizix, Bobby Hankill in Syracuse, and that's leaving us with Fan bottom lane, who so far is actually taking McIntyre almost out of the lane. My goodness.
Zeratul versus Illidan is definitely almost like a knife fight. Because if Zeratul can land his singularity spikes, then he kind of can edge out Illidan out of lane. However, if the Illidan player is smart about dodging those singularity spikes, then he can win the lane. It's always a very, very interesting one-on-one to see because it can just go either way depending on, it's all dependent on those singularity spikes landing. So there is the first temple phase, middle temple, and the top one. Like we have mentioned before, that middle temple is so important as it grants you a little bit more damage done to the structures, the more important structures, and therefore more experience. Experience is pretty even here on both fronts. Level 4 going to be coming in just a moment here for both of these teams.
So right now it does look like the Barrels are going to be holding down point on the mid, but as soon as it came up, Tazza went straight into the top lane. So he is going to be trading it out 1-for-1, but as you say, it's a little bit better for you if you can grab this middle one. And so far, there's absolutely no contention about from Cloud9 Vortex. Fan still into the bottom lane, pushing up. McIntyre is still there as well, so it is going to be at most a 4v4 if we do collapse onto one of these. Syracuse is holding down the top lane, so is Airhouse. So a lot of experience is not really kind of being wasted at this point, and it does look like teams will be happy to trade out one temple for one temple, and everybody is still soaking, which means that our experience is virtually going to stay the same as it is.
So assuming that there's no significant amount of damage done to your structures, if you have 3 people sitting in lane soaking up every ounce of experience that they can, that will grant you a larger amount of experience than if you grab both temples and kill the towers. So that's always something to take into consideration. Obviously, you don't want to just blindly give away temples and all of a sudden, you know, all your dowers are down and now you can get backdoored and you can get pushed in after a team fight. Fans got to be careful here. He's being real smart. He knows he can't go in a blizzard. He couldn't walk in there. But at the same time, if he didn't walk through the blizzard, he was going to get picked off. And that's what happened. He found himself in between a rock and a hard place, getting picked off. First blood, going the way of Barrel Boys.
And Barrel Boys with that pickup on top of Fan. Again, like Fan, that's twice now we've seen him actually be the first blood in that 1v1 duel lane. This time, you know, it was actually to the help of a gank, but he plays very close to the fire early on with that Illidan, and twice now we've seen him actually drop for the first. Now, there are people there to pick up the slack. It's not really going to be the biggest of differences, as both teams have now hit level 7, which is going to be good timings. We also have the timings on point for these top bruisers. The Barrels are going to be grabbing those, and depending upon their map situation, they're either going to grab the temple and allow the top to push, or they're just going to ignore the temple and push with this bruiser top lane pressure. So we're going to be looking to see which way they do want to go. Their top gates, however, have not survived very well after that temple onslaught.
So looking at the talents, level 7 is here. And I want to take a look at Lily. So looking at Lily's passive trait, it's called Fast Feet, or you could just say lightning on your feet. And she's lightning on her feet, and she went ahead and picked up the talent Shake It Off. A very good talent right there, Sean. Yep. And the next talent phase, or the next temple phase, coming up here and down in the bottom shrine. Neither of these teams are in super prime position to pick this up. However, Illidan, now that he has that immolation, he can clear the night camp. And this is something we saw Cloud9 Vortex do exactly last game. And that is right around the 4.5 minute mark, right before level 10. The Illidan rotates down to the bruiser camp, and with the help of that level 4 talent immolation, is able to clear it up by himself. So they got the bruiser camp, they kept a strong presence on the map. However, with Barrel Boys' advantage that they've gained themselves, they are going to get level 10 well before Cloud9 Vortex, and this is going to be a free temple for them and potentially a free fort.
Now, McIntyre, twice in a row that he's shown us this Zeratul back-to-back, he starts off with the Regeneration Master, goes into the Sustained Anomaly. And this does area damage and slows regardless if it hits or not. Yep. Late game with double bombs, he can throw that out, and it doesn't matter if it hits. If you're anywhere near it, it will explode for full damage on top of you. It's a really interesting way to bring single target damage into an AoE sort of mentality. And it worked out great from the first game. We'll have to see if it works out great from here. Has that Void Prison. It is going to be the Apocalypse Wombo. So the Divine Storm after a Void Prison into an Apocalypse, or some version of that for the lockup. Will that be enough time for Jaina and her Water Elemental to kind of take someone to town, though?
I'm definitely raising my eyebrow to this Apocalypse pickup. There's an initiation from Van. He's got to be careful. Divine Storm completely whiffed there, Sean. Yonda is just getting picked apart. There is the initiation from the ETC as well. They can't take down this Tyrande. She's in prime position to get picked off, but they can't get the damage done. There's a secondary Lunar Flare on Taza. Right now, Cloud9 Vortex's heavy frontline initiation, the follow-up from it is not enough. They had a great opportunity there to pick off that Tyrande, and through great play and defensive movement from the Barrel Boys, they were able to keep that Tyrande alive. No one goes down.
I'm a little surprised that nobody actually went down right there, and the only kill that will remain so far is that one on top of Fan. So a little bit of experience lead will remain here for the Barrel Boys, but going back and forth, that Divine Storm whiff was absolutely huge. We had the VP, and the timing of the Apocalypse was actually really good. It caught not only the Illidan, but as well Taza, who came down with the stage dive. So as soon as they saw those reticles going off, he immediately cast the Apocalypse. There's no chance that you can avoid it, because as soon as you land, the stun will go off. It was actually a really nice timing, but unfortunately there was no capitalization. So level 12 to 11, we are going to be looking at these temples in the next few seconds, and just going back and forth, looking at them. I mean, it still could go either way.
Going back to the Apocalypse pickup there, Sean,
Sure.
it was very effective in the last team fight. No question right there. However, will he be able to continue to land Apocalypse like that is what I need to know. Because if you look at the lineup of Cloud9 Vortex, they have ETC with Power Slide, Vala with Vault, Tassadar with Dimensional Shift, and Illidan with both his Q and his W. Zig's got to be careful here. He's going to get blown up.
He got absolutely
Good
controlled.
Yeah, that was a great pickoff from Barrel Boys. The point I'm trying to make there is all four of those heroes have a reliable mechanism intrinsically built into their set to be able to dodge the Apocalypse in these team fights. Now, with that being said, it's not like these players are going to be saving those abilities for the Apocalypse. You simply can't do that because they'll just sit there. Diablo will never pop his Apocalypse,
right?
And
nobody wins.
Stuck in position.
Yeah.
So, oh no, we're going to Throw City here. The mayor is give the State of the Union speech as Taz is going to have to get out of there. Void Prison onto 2. Starfall, there's the Apocalypse. Is it going to land? It does land on Fan. Looks like he's taking quite a bit amount of damage there. Lunar Flare is not there. Okay, he does go down actually. So now Illidan and ETC both down. Syracuse going to be going down. Barrel Boys turning it around. Like I said, this is Throw City, and the mayor definitely had his hand in that backdoor bureaucratic corruption. Now they're going to push down this bottom lane, get these tier 2 towers. Don't know if they're going to be able to get the keep. Respawn timers are still pretty low. We're only at the 8-minute mark. But nonetheless, good play from Barrel Boys, and now they are continuing to perpetuate their experience advantage.
It was a good idea coming forward there from Cloud9 Vortex. Use the globals to initiate on top of that point, look to grab that boss. But 2 for 2, we are on point with those apocalypses, Mr. Shane Gucher. And so far, Airho is really showing the value of that pick. The Wombo was real. They got 3 kills, I want to say. At least 2, if not 3. They killed the Illegally just a bit before that as well. The boss hype was real into that bottom lane. It cleaned up this gate. That puts us close to 16 now here as well. For Barrel Boys, on the back of these bruisers, you're probably going to be seeing them hit it. And this is not a good position for Cloud9 Vortex. That being said, this is almost exactly like it was last game. We almost just saw this overwhelming pressure, and then Cloud9 somehow brings it back. Can they do that again?
The big factor in this game that Cloud9 Vortex didn't have last game is the Lili. Now, Lili, believe it or not, actually scales incredibly well into the late game. She gets that level 20 talent, the Kung Fu hustle, that just makes her a cup throwing, healing machine. Now, obviously, you can go with the million cup jugs as well, and that makes her heroic, the healing heroic 1,000 cups exponentially better. So she gets a really big power spike in the late game is the point I'm trying to make there, and it actually will favor Cloud9 Vortex quite well because that's going to enable Illidan to just go all out in these team fights.
Now we do got a little bit of a push, counter push kind of strategy going. Bottom lane is going to be a big target here. Tazza and crew broke down the gate, but it looks like they're just going to leave it for now. Of course, we do got the stage dive ready to go from Tazza if they do need it into this top. But the gate to the keep is now lost into the top lane from Cloud9 Vortex. So in terms of a trade, I'm definitely going to give a little bit more of an advantage over to the Barrel Boys for their push. And you can see them. They're looking for blood down here. They're looking for a tasty beef dinner. And, well, they're going to find Tazza. Tazza does avoid out the owl, but it doesn't look like we're really in too much of a position to capitalize. If they don't stun lock him as well, he can just stage dive away, but at least that would still be a heroic for free. Either way, next tempo is up, and it's this bottom lane.
Now, with double imposing presence on the side of Barrel Boys, that is really going to cut Illidan's. It's just going to cut him at the ankles, and he's going to not be doing much damage whatsoever if he's focusing down either the Uther or the Diablo. However, generally his target is the Tyrande or the Jaina. But nonetheless, later on in these team fights, if they need to clean up or if, you know, they're on the back foot and Diablo's on top of them, it's really going to make his life a living hell from the Diablo. So I like the double imposing presence. It's a very strong pickup, and I've talked about it before. It's such a strong ability at really gimping the Illidan.
Yeah, the imposing presence will come out big. Of course, we do got the double Lunar Blaze and Shooting Star combo here from Tyrande. The double bombs now coming out as well. And coming into this, I mean, they do got finally level 16, so they are going to initiate into the Barrel Boys on that. But the Apocalypse looked like it stopped the people that it needed to, but we do got the cups going out. Everything's been shifted away out of the Starfall, but Fan is just really low. Looks like he's going to be all right for now. He is going to be in the back looking for some of that hit points. Kionda is now going to be a big pressure point here as Tazza was chasing him out. Right now, it is going to be McIntyre, though, does not get the blink to victory. And it looks like the only kill thus far is going to be that Zeratul, but now the domino effect is coming into it. Uther is going to drop. Airho is going to get body blocked out. Fan got himself a last heal at the moment, but wow, the return is going to be enough. Illidan is going to drop, and now Tazza is going to go the way of the Dodo as well. Shame.
Overextension there from Cloud9 Vortex. They had a good 2-0 in their pocket, a secure temple in the bottom lane. they would have got a little too over aggressive. They swept underneath the tower, and both Illidan and ETC getting taken out. Now, that's not going to be a huge problem, as it's not like there's, you know, it's like a 5v3 or anything like that. It's still 3v3, so it's still a little even when talking about being able to get yourself on the map and getting some objectives done. But nonetheless, that could have been much better for Cloud9 Vortex. Misplay, unfortunate misplay, is going to take what would have been a very positive exchange and turn it basically into a wash.
18-17. I mean, when the last time I looked at the levels, it was the 15 versus the 17. I was like, man, Cloud9 is really trying not to engage on this. But they use the global from the stage dive to soak the other lanes. They got the 16. They trade out evenly with the kills. Unfortunately, they did lose out that tempo, and this keep in the bottom lane is very close to going down. It will not drop as of yet, but it is very YOLOable right now. Still, level advantage is here for the Barrel Boys. They might have traded out evenly. They didn't want that, of course, but they did get the tempo out of it. Boss is up. Will we see the mayor of Throw City involved in this next team fight?
There's a good possibility if he has any say in it whatsoever. Now, rotating across the map, Barrel Boys picking up their mercenary camp, put some more pressure onto the map. However, Cloud9 Vortex has done the same, and they are looking to maybe potentially pick off these Siege Ogres of Barrel Boys, or they are setting themselves up for a little bit of a surprise ambush at the Siege Ogres right here. Tassadar sitting there. He's sitting there in that little bush. McIntyre smelled it, though. So he knew what was up. He's going to go in there, lay down the Singularity Spike, and get on out of there. And now Barrel Boys are a little bit of a little awkward situation here. You definitely don't want to be team fighting right there by that curve of the bridge. That is a big choke point, and you're just going to get absolutely punished if you're in that position.
Now, I mean, Trummo is way over there, and that actually could come back to haunt him a little bit. He does have that sprint ready to go. We got the stage dive from Tazza. He goes all the way into the back looking for Trummo. Now he's on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage. Here comes the Wombo, 1 and 2. Where's the Divine? Divine is not hit, but it looks like Syracuse, he's going to be able to just use the Dimensional Warp. He's going to be okay. Nobody down as of yet, but Tazza with the super aggressive stage dive is still alive and ticking. Fan is now going to be trading blows there with Airho a little bit. Trummo in the back got shrunk red. So here comes the meta. There goes the ETC. Fan is looking for the kill on top of Kianda, and it looks like they will trade it out. Uther apparently dropped in all of that confusion as well, and it will be once more Fan and crew on Cloud9 Vortex taking a better engage.
I'm starting to get deja vu here, Sean. Cloud9 Vortex, they're starting to narrow that gap that Barrel Boys have had since the gates have dropped at the beginning of this match. Now, both teams at level 19, a very slight advantage to Barrel Boys, but nothing that is insurmountable by any means, especially with the way that Cloud9 Vortex has been playing. We're going to definitely contend over this mid-temple, as we're now in the situation where only the inner keeps are alive. All outlane forts have been sieged. Both teams have been constricted on map vision due to that. Top keep is under fire as McIntyre picks up the middle temple. But Cloud9 Vortex, they're going to get the full damage done from the middle temple as well. The tier 2 tower is going to be going down. No keep going down quite yet. That bottom keep on the side of Cloud9 Vortex is still very, very low, though. Level 20 almost here for Barrel Boys. Cloud9 Vortex right behind him.
Yeah, okay, so just going back and forth, looking who's getting the better trade in terms of the temples. Well, Zeratul left the top. He was getting off a few of those shots, and he was trying to just do as much as he could, but you know, the race to 20 has once more been won out by Cloud9 Vortex. Wasn't as big as a lead this round, but they still get that 20 hype very, very quickly. And at 16 minutes in, there we go. We now equalize out. We got boss pressure, Mr. Shane, but I don't think the Barrels even know about it.
Yeah, this is great game sense from Cloud9 Vortex, recognizing, hey, the temple up there is blue. We know where Barrel Boys is. Let's rotate down to the boss, pick it up. Barrel Boys is sniffing it out, but they're going to be a little bit too late here. Tazza actually ETC here stage diving over there to get back to his team. So he didn't want to get caught in a position. He wanted to be with the rest of his team. He did not want to be alone. So with that boss, it's going to force a response from Barrel Boys to retreat, clean up the boss, and this is going to allow Cloud9 Vortex to roam across the map, keep the lanes pushed in, keep the map pressure in their favor, and then try to look for a team fight. Now, as I mentioned, that level 20 talent from Lily Kung Fu Hustle is such a huge, huge factor. People don't realize how strong of a talent that it actually is. Abilities recharge 3 times as fast while Fast Feet is active. Healing Brew is a 3-second cooldown. So essentially, while Fast Beat is active, Healing Brew is only a 1 second cooldown. And that just is a huge spike in the amount of healing that Lily can put out.
And she also has Herbal Cleanse, would you believe, as well. Movement speed and removal of all silences, stuns, slows, roots, and polymorphs. It's not going to be the 2-for-1, and she has the Shrink Ray on top of that. We've seen the Shrink Ray actually on Trouble before. The cute little Janet you just want to put in your pocket, but that is the absolute monstrous, most overpowered talent that we have in this game, that Kung Fu Hustle. And so Lily, if they can't control this Lily, if they can't kill the Lily, Barrel Boys are going to be in some trouble, but the trouble they might be anyways. Airho goes in, here comes the APOC, but he saves Syracuse from it. It doesn't hit anybody else, and we have the Jugs still ticking away. Syracuse with that Bruiser build, that Prescience, and the Dimensional Warp puts him almost right back to full hit points, but the stuns are going to be enough. Illidan way too far forward. That's going to be a blink away from Tazza, but the Void Prison is here. We're looking for the Wombas, we're looking for Tazza, and I think we're going to grab it.
So very well played by Barrel Boys. A great Divine Storm got the pick off on the fan, followed by a great Void Prison, getting the pick off onto ETC right as the temples spawn in the middle and the north. Now the Tassadar going down as well. Barrel Boys, are they going to get the temples, or are they going to just make an aggressive push here? I mean, Tassadar's down for a minute, Illidan's down for 30 seconds, ETC down for 45 seconds. So yeah, they're going to put one person at each temple and push in this bottom lane. Finally, that bottom keep, which has been solo for so long, is finally going to go down. These temples are going to do so much work here. Is there enough for them to just outright end the game? If it is, it's going to be close here, Sean.
Well, with 2 temples slamming on this keep and no contention, it's going to go down. We still have about half the shots there in the mid, half the shots in the top, plus the 5 as well. This actually might be game. That's a full temple worth plus 10 shots to go still on top of this core. And right now, there's no Mule, there's no contention. Kionda and Blink still holding it down mid. The mid is about to actually deplete 40%, 5 more shots. Airho's still about to deplete as well. Will this be enough? Could this be the game over? It is. The double temple is enough. And the Barrel Boys tie up the series 1-1 in this finals for the ESL Cup 14. Oh, I'm losing my words.
So, kind of a anticlimactic end to that game, but sometimes that happens on Sky Temple. Well done by Barrel Boys. They were able to not get knocked out in the late game like what happened in the first match. They had that great team fight at the last part of the map. A just beautiful Divine Storm got the pick off on the fan, followed up with a great Void Prison, followed up with the Lunar Flare on top of a Blizzard. Down went the ETC. They're able to chase down and pick up the Tassadar as well. From there, get both those temples. So well done for Barrel Boys. A 1-1. This is going to be game, set, and match, Sean. We're going to be going into game 3 between these two teams, and I am very excited. Both of them are playing so very well. It's hard to say who's going to take it, man. Both of these teams, both of those matches were hard-fought matches.
Well, Mr. Paramedic of Florida, you are absolutely correct. I don't know how a symbol can talk so eloquently.
I'm sorry.
It was a phenomenal last team fight right there, and Barrel Boys with double temples on the board. They finish it out, and that brings us to a game 3. Nothing Cloud9 Vortex could have done as soon as they had lost that team fight. It was a sealed deal, and unfortunately, we didn't really get to see a lot of the big power of the Kung Fu Hustle. I mean, the Lily pick was really on point. She had some really good engages, especially those last few fights, and we saw that snowball, that late game Cloud9 Vortex really start ramping it up. They got to 21st, they had the good momentum, but they couldn't kill out Airho. He really went in deep on that Bruiser. They couldn't kill him out. Even the Apocalypse didn't even really seem to phase them. But unfortunately, they lost Fan in a little bit of a miscommunication, and it was just dominoes from there, man.
So I think we're going to be going into game 3 here.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit here, waiting for the teams to do the map striking, to get the draft, and hopefully we'll be back here in just a moment here, Sean.
Absolutely. So see you guys in a few as the epic conclusion will resume. Don't go anywhere.